Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Adrian. I'm the owner and operator of a film processing lab, Simple Film Labs, and I thought that I would make this video to kind of give a general walkthrough of what it would take to develop your own film at home. Recently, there have been a number of stay-at-home orders across the United States. I'm located in Sonoma County in California, and with the recent COVID-19 virus that's been happening, and so there's an awful lot of people that are stuck at home, and they want things to do and want to be able to process their own film. So I thought I would make a video of the things that you would need to do that, and maybe in follow-up videos, the actual process of processing your own film at home. I'm here in my house, so anyway, I thought I would just do a quick run through of the things that you would need, kind of as a shopping list if you don't already have the things. Starting off, first you need some film. So in this case, this is 120 film or 35 millimeter film. This is Delta 400 that I shot a little while back, and this is Kentmere 400 that I also shot a little while back, of just kind of documenting family life here while we've been stuck at home. In order to develop this black and white film at home, there are a number of things that you will need. You'll need a developing tank. This is one bit made by Patterson. It's basically a reel with some stuff that's on there, and in order to get the film into the tank, there are a couple of things that you need. You need a pair of scissors. Ideally, you need this little gizmo called a film extractor, and what this does is it helps extract the film from the canister, and then you need a pair of scissors to do some trimming so that you can fit the film onto the reel. In order to do that, you need to do it in the dark. So unless you have a darkroom at your house, in which case, why are you watching this video? You will also need a changing bag. And what this is this, you put all the stuff in there, and it has some arms, some armholes you can see right here. And it allows you to get the film out of the canister and onto the reel into the daylight processing tank in the dark, so that you don't expose the film and fog it. Once you do that, because this is a daylight processing tank, you can do all the processing that you want with the lights on. So it's really, really nice that way. You'll need the scissors. Ideally, you want to extract the tongue from the film using the tongue extractor before you go into the dark bag, and I can do a separate video on how a 35 millimeter tongue extractor works. But essentially, you want to get it to where it's, the tongue is pulled out of the canister, and then you can finish pulling it the rest of the way out and snip it off right before the canister inside the dark bag to put it on the reel. I can also do a video on the reel if that's what you guys want, but in the interest of keeping this particular video relatively short, that's something that I would have to cover on a different episode. So with that, scissors, tongue extractor, roll of film, Patterson tank with the reel, and a changing bag. That gets you to the point where you can actually process some film if you have some chemistry, some developer and stuff like that. So in order to do that, one of the first things you need is a temperature gauge. This is one that I've used for 3 or 4 years. It's a digital one. Really, any kitchen temperature gauge will work. It does not, for black and white film, it does not have to be super accurate. It just needs to be within a degree. So if you've got one of these hanging around in your kitchen, this one is digital, but you can also order these online. I think Amazon has them. They're not that expensive. So you need a temperature gauge that's relatively accurate. you need a developer. Now in this case, I have here at home on hand, simply because I'm trying to use it up, Ilford Ilfosol 3. Pretty much any developer will work. D76 is a good place to start from Kodak. Kodak Xtol is a good place to start. Ilford DDX is a good developer. Rodinal, HC110. There's a whole bunch of developers. If your Patterson tank is large enough, if you are using a Patterson tank, you know, you want to make sure you have the one where you can put at least 600 milliliters in. The reality is, you know, pretty much any developer, if you're just starting off with this, will work. A lot of people like to use Rodinal because it's very simple and easy to use. It's a liquid concentrate. Same thing with HC110. It has a really long shelf life. It lasts a really long time, and you just mix up the amount that you need. Now the stop bath that happens between the developing bath and the fixed bath can be plain water if you want it to be. If you want to, you can also get an actual stop bath. Ilford makes an Ilfostop. I believe Kodak does as well. I personally use 1 part white distilled vinegar to 4 parts water. That gets mixed together, and that is my stop bath. You know, you just need something that is relatively acidic, not overly acidic, but relatively acidic, that it will pull the pH down and stop development, because most developers are either a neutral developer in terms of pH or they're an alkaline developer. So you need something that will pull the pH down to where the developer stops developing. You can do it with plain water, and that's fine, but it's a lot faster and more consistent if you do it with an actual stop bath. And I use, because it's cheap, white distilled vinegar, 1 part distilled vinegar to 4 parts water. Other things that you will need in terms of actual chemistry is a fixer. Now in this particular case, again, I'm using Ilford Rapid Fixer. Kodak also makes a line of fixers. They make a rapid fixer as well as their standard fixer. It's called Kodak Fixer. It's powder. You mix it up a gallon at a time. They all work fine. I personally use Rapid Fixer because that's what I use in my lab, and frankly, it's much faster in terms of fixing times. Other things that you'll need is a measuring graduate. I use a liter size one. 500 milliliters will also work, but you need one of these to mix up your chemistry, and you also need some little tanks for holding your chemistry in between baths. Sometimes you could use, depending on whether or not you have hard water, you may need something like a PhotoFlow or something like that, but you can also substitute just a tiny drop of soap in the final wash, just so that your film doesn't dry with spots on it. And that's it in a nutshell. That's really all you need. I can walk through the actual developing process and actually do develop this roll of film in another video. But for this video, that's all you really need to start developing film at home. And that should get you started and ready to go. You also need a place to hang your film up afterwards, but that's really, at its most basic, that's really it. Anyway, we can talk about that in the developing video, but in this video, I just wanted to keep it short. And so that's what you need to develop film. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.